Hey guys, and welcome back to Recipes for Success with Jenny from the Chopping Block. And today I have a very special guest and friend, Sal Farruggia. And I want to highlight Sal today because I just think he's been doing such a great thing for our local community here. And just what he's built this business into is remarkable. So Sal, I know that you've had over 700 teams in your sports league, and I've been a part of that, and I love it. And I actually just went kayaking with you guys, well, canoeing, with you guys a few weeks ago. And I'm just really happy for you to be here. And my first question really is, I want to know more about what inspired this league for you.
Yeah, absolutely. So you mentioned we have 700. We've had 700 teams. LI Kick is Long Island's biggest provider of co-ed adult social sports. We've had over 10,000 people play in our leagues. So you've been one of them, Jenny. I started LI Kick in 2013. I had moved to Glen Cove, and I didn't really know anybody. And I graduated from college a little bit before then, and I just loved college so much. Every night there was something to do, people to see. There's always a party going on, and I love that. And then when I moved back home, I went from being king of the campus just to another guy working a job, and that was a tough transition for me. So eventually, I started LI Kick as a kickball league just to get out there and meet some people. I just moved to Glen Cove, which is on the North Shore of Long Island, and aside from my two roommates, I didn't really know anybody. We didn't have many friends, so I was jealous of my friends that were living in other cities, especially Rochester, which is where I came from. And I was just so jealous that they had these great kickball leagues that led to their social life. So I took a chance on it. I talked to the parks director of the town that I lived in, and she said that I could do it. I could give it a shot. And I put up registration. I somehow cobbled together 126 people for our first season, and it was a hit. It was an immediate hit. We had so much fun. The next season was double that size, and then we just hit the ground running. And we've added soccer, dodgeball, volleyball, cornhole, bowling leagues, and now it's 2000. What's 2020 now? And we've had over 10,000. We've had over 10,000 people playing our league, and it's been the greatest joy of my life.
Wow. And I just want to highlight, I consider you an entrepreneur, but when you said we spoke about it, you're like, I'm not an entrepreneur. I'm just a guy who's doing what I love. And I just love that distinction because it shows. And I think, do you believe that's part of the success that you've had?
Well, when I started it, it wasn't to like start a kickball league or become an entrepreneur. I never really considered myself an entrepreneur. We just started kickball because we wanted to have some fun and meet some girls, and just was a big hit, and it just kept going. So I'm just a guy doing what I love. I'm not. I don't really consider myself an entrepreneur. As you continue on with doing what you do, you kind of your mindset changes a little bit. I remember I did a business competition. I was getting my master's degree at Stony Brook, and there was a contest for students there, and I was a grad student. Although I was like 27 at the time, um, it was a business development competition. And I said, I'll give this a shot. And part of the competition, you were required to meet with a small business advisor. And I met this guy named Pierre, and he just like instantly understood what kickball was. He understood like the culture. It's just a bunch of people having fun, having a good time. It's not about winning and losing. And he was able to help me come up with a business plan that I was required to submit for this contest. And he basically created a spreadsheet for me. And he said, if you have this many people, this many leagues, if you are doing this, and it would just like spit out all these numbers. And I'm like, wow, this guy gets it. And that kind of changed my mindset of taking it to the next level. And we've added a bunch of sports in, and I'm pretty thankful for doing that contest.
Wow, that's amazing. So that was a big part of it as well. And I'm looking at this picture here
Mm-hmm.
In our background that was put in Newsday. How did that come about? Was that before you expanded the league into other teams and stuff? Because I know you've been in Newsday like 5 times, and you've been in a bunch of other papers.
Yeah, I've been in Newsday a couple times. That picture that you're in right there, that was when the league started. They covered our opening night. So that was the first time I was in there. And then since kind of like whenever we start something new, Newsday gives us a call. So when I have a new soccer league or new cornhole league, the first time we did dodgeball, they hit us up also. When I started doing virtual events during coronavirus, they also featured us there too. So every now and then, I think they're on my mailing list, the Newsday people. So sometimes
Pretty
something
awesome.
catches their interest and they'll hit me up.
So you spoke about some virtual events that you had during COVID, and
Yeah.
I saw you a couple weeks ago, so it was kind of like a little bit after everything was really serious for a while. Can you tell me more about what you did during COVID and how that maybe affected the business? And
Yeah. I mean, quarantine is crazy for everybody. So March 13th, we had to shut down all of our leagues immediately. And having big leagues and lots of people and social connections and parties is really the essence of what we do. So we instantly went from having 900 players playing in March to having 0 players playing on March 15th, which is a bummer, obviously. So we went virtual. We started doing virtual bingo. We started doing virtual prices right. We've added all these virtual events. So me and a buddy have done close to 100 virtual events now. I never thought I'd be doing so many of them, but we do open games. We've done birthday parties, fundraisers. We even did a bachelorette party. And one of the joys I get out of doing the virtual events is the
wait a
birthdays
minute,
that
back up. How'd you do a virtual bachelor party?
It's possible. These girls, they wanted to have a bachelorette party and they scheduled it and had to cancel it 3 times because of coronavirus restrictions. So eventually they just said, screw it, we're going to go virtual. And that allowed people from all across the country to be invited. Instead of having a small group of 7 girls, they were now able to invite their bigger network of girls.
Oh, wow, that's nice.
And yeah, and they didn't have to travel. They didn't have to worry about are these events safe or can I return back to my home state after I travel to New Jersey. So we composed a virtual bachelorette party. Basically, we organized games for them, and
Fun.
we had a great time.
Love that. That sounds amazing.
Yeah, and one of the joys of virtual events is doing stuff like that. We're able to rescue these events. The birthday parties that we do, they typically would have been canceled, but then they call us up and we can say, yeah, of course you could do your virtual birthday party for you. We're going to invite all your friends. They're all going to attend because they don't have to drive anywhere. You could call up anybody from anywhere to be a part of it, and it helps keep people together when they're forced to be apart.
And I know you, and I know like everything that's like, I know the vibe that I get, being on the team, and it's so much fun. But I know that you have back-to-back events, social events, and how does that like incorporate into your vision? Because they're so much fun.
Yeah, I mean, I love doing LI Kick and all these events. It is taking years off my life, though.
That's the next question.
Yeah, I usually am up till 2 or I don't think it's possible for me to go to bed before midnight. I'm usually up till midnight or 1 or 2, and sometimes even 3 a.m. working on this stuff. But for me, it doesn't really feel like work. I love doing it so much. I love accomplishing what our goals are and getting more and more people involved. So it really is a labor of love. If I had to, Mark Zuckerberg said it good about Facebook. Someone asked him how many hours a week that he works, and he says, I live it. It's who I am. Everything I do is me thinking about Facebook. That's how I feel about LA Kick. Whenever I do, I'm thinking about how I can make LA Kick grow bigger. And if I go to a cool bar, I'm saying, oh, this bar would be great if they were one of our sponsors. If I see an event, I say, how could I get LA Kick involved in this event and become us a sponsor of that event? So I live it.
Beautiful. And I know that you also went from Nassau to Suffolk. Can you explain that expansion and how that came about?
Yeah, absolutely. So I was just having a great time running my kickball leagues, and I met a guy at another business competition. It was like a knockoff of Shark Tank. There's no like prizes or there's no offer, but it was like a pitch competition basically.
It's really awesome.
And somebody was in the audience, and he immediately got it. And his name is Rich, and he's been with me since 2016, and he lives out in Suffolk. And one of our first ideas was to up our webpage, and Rich is a brilliant web designer, so he designed us a whole new webpage. And then we said, let's tackle this expansion now. So before we were just doing a lot of our sports in Glen Cove, and then when I met Rich, we moved out to Suffolk, and we're able to introduce LA Kick to a whole new range of people.
It's amazing. So is he a business partner in that, or?
Rich is one of the employees, but he's
Cool.
probably my most trusted friend.
Wow, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Cool. So I want to talk a little bit more about you. So I see Laurent de France in your background. Can you tell me about that? And I know that you're an avid cyclist and I know you just did that huge trip. What was it, from Albany to,
Yeah. Yeah.
where was it?
Yeah, we rode our bikes from Albany to Niagara Falls.
Hmm. And
So
how long did that take you?
that was a 5-day trip. In total, it's a little more than 400 miles. So we would ride about 80 miles a day and then hop into a motel or a hotel, wake up the next morning and be out the door and ride again. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, cycling is definitely, that's like my true love. And before I did LA Kick, like I was a cyclist. Like that's who I was. I'd ride my bike all the time. I would ride. I feel like a 7-year-old when I say it. But I just love to ride my bike. I typically would do 3,000 miles a year, but now LA Kick takes up more of my time, so I'm not able to do that. But yeah, me and a buddy, we rode our bikes from Albany to Niagara Falls. In 2013, when LA Kick was still a baby, I actually went out to the Tour de France, not to compete, but I spent 10 days in France following the tour with two buddies. That was a really awesome experience. So every summer, the Tour de France is about 2,200 kilometers, and it's about 80 hours of television coverage. And every summer, I watch 80 hours of television coverage of the Tour de France. And then after the stage is over, I'll listen to a podcast about it. So that's really, really a passion of mine is riding my bike.
So what about it? What about you just fills your soul? Like what makes you so passionate about it? And how was that trip?
Yeah.
Was it hard?
I just love riding my bike because it gives you such a feeling of adventure. You could just take your bike and go anywhere. You have a sense of freedom when you're on your bicycle. I call it life on the road. You're just riding your bike, and wherever you want to go, you could go with that. I get a great feeling of accomplishment also when I ride my bike 50 miles and I look at the map and I see that I've been out there for 3 hours. I've covered 3,000 feet of hills, and I like pushing myself. It's a lot of fun. It's hard to explain, but it's a lot of fun.
What do you think about when you're riding that whole time?
Well, that's awesome because I'm so addicted to my phone. I wish I wasn't, but it's just how I am. I'm just so addicted to being on text and Instagram and email that I can never put my phone down. I'm always on it. But when I'm on my bicycle, I can't be on it. So it's great to have that peace where I'm
Freedom.
not connected to the world. I'm just a boy on his bike. And what I think about, just stuff comes in your head. If stuff will just come to you.
It's amazing. Well, thanks for sharing that.
Sure.
So I wanted to ask you also, I'm trying to think. So you've had over 100 seasons so far since 2013?
Yeah. When you add kickball with soccer, I think we did kickball first, then soccer, then cornhole, then bowling, then volleyball, then dodgeball. And when you add those all together, you have they're each about 7 or 8 week seasons. So when you add in all the sports since 2013 and all the seasons of winter, early spring, summer, fall, and late fall, which comprise the 12 months, our 12-month calendar. Each season is 2 months long. When you add those all together, it's like, I think we're up to like 130. I'll be honest, during coronavirus, I kind of like stopped keeping track of everything. The numbers like don't really make sense anymore. So my record keeping isn't up to date since coronavirus, but yeah, we're at like 130 seasons now and over 10,000 players. 8 years. Yeah, it's been great.
Wow, that's amazing. So what's next for LA Kick?
Well, coronavirus is obviously a bummer. So every day the numbers in New York State are looking better and better for that, which means we have a more optimistic future. So we're able to add our sports back in slowly. We're going to have kickball and volleyball in the fall. We just got approved to run soccer again. Bowling was just approved to be in New York by the governor for people to do that safely.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, cornhole and dodgeball will have to wait, but we want to get all those sports going back again. We also have a lot of events coming up too. We have a virtual Price is Right show happening. We have a beer pong tournament. We have a booze cruise. We have a kickball tournament. So we're just looking to push the envelope with new and exciting events that people can't really get on their own. One thing I like saying about events is like before I like kick, I always had all these ideas. And I'm like, oh man, I would find out that you could rent a bounce house for $300. So I'm like, I got $300. This would be so much fun. But I didn't have the friends or the people or a reason to rent a bounce house. And now that we have these events, we're able to just like come up with these crazy ideas of saying like, yeah, the bounce house would be great. Let's get one of those. So even at our weekly games we made last week, the theme was Christmas in August. Everybody dressed up in their festive Christmas wear.
I saw
And
that.
we made the bar Christmas themed. We had a Christmas costume contest. Next week is going to be birthday theme. A lot of birthdays were ruined because of coronavirus, so we're going to have a birthday party for everybody and anybody who has a birthday at all. And we're going to have a cake eating contest where I'm going to give people a big slice of cake. It's going to be covered with hot fudge, whipped cream, sprinkles, and I'm not going to give them any utensils. And the first person to eat their cake is going to win the birthday cake eating contest. So it's fun to do these events and keep coming up with new and new ideas, stuff that people just. I think it's going to be a lot of fun to have a cake eating contest. But if you and I would challenge each other to a cake eating contest, you'd think I'm like a crazy person. Why do that? But when you attach it to the leagues and the events, it adds more meaning to it.
Can you tell us more about the gala? Because that's one of the events that I always loved.
Yeah, the gala is our big end of the season party. When I first met our good friend Tiet, she had that idea to me. She gave me that idea, and I didn't really understand it. I just said, Tiet, if you want to do it, you can do it. Go ahead. And we've had a gala every October or November to end our season and our the big seasons are spring, summer, fall. So it's like our end of season party. And it started with 40 people. Now the gala is up to 120 people. It's an open bar. It's a dinner. It's an award ceremony, DJ, dancing, photo booth. We do it all for a super affordable price. Every year the league spends their own money to make this party so great. And people really dress up for it. It's like having a prom as an adult. Yes, people have taken limos to the gala as well. People do dress up in their very formal wear or very festive wear, like American flags and lederhosen have been popular. A lot of bow ties happen also. But yeah, it's our biggest and best party that happens at the end of every year.
So fun, and I feel like the awards are amazing. Even like the style. I want to talk more about your brand. So how did you? Because your brand is so familiar, obviously, to all of us now. Can you show us? I see you have some stuff on top of your locker there.
Yeah. So this is some various stuff that we have. So first off, this is the LA Kick Solo Cup. This is a common prize that we give out for people when they win the bar champs. Kickball and what I do is not about winning and losing. I don't care if you could kick a kickball 300 yards and hit a home run every time. It's really not about getting trophies for winning and losing. Yes, there is a first place team, then they get prizes, but really it's about the social side of things. We do the bar champs competition in conjunction with our regular season winners. So bar champs, I don't care if you lose every game. Bar champs is for people that are the social people. So people that come out and win games like our cake eating contest. We're dressed up super festive. So this is a LA Kick Solo Cup. That's been one of our prizes in the past for the bar champs. This is an LA Kick koozie. LA Kick has given out over 2,000 koozies for free. This is one of our more popular ones, the t-shirt jersey. A lot of players get koozies, or we'll give them out at beer festivals too, as we try and spread social sports love to everybody. This is an aluminum water bottle, typically given as a gift to captains. And then this is an LA Kick Das Boot. This is actually only the 1 liter version. We do have a 2 liter version as well, but this is one of our most in-demand prizes. Any winning team gets the LA Kick boot as well. So, and typically I'll throw a couple beers in there too, so they could celebrate on the field immediately. But yeah, the boot is this idea is one of our good ideas for sure.
Sweet, love it. And how'd you come up with the logo? Is that like that brand?
The logo was how did I come up with it? I gave someone $200 who was a graphic designer.
I've been there.
Damn, I drew out what I thought this would look like in my mind, and I said, "Can you make this a logo?" and she gave me 3 options, and I went with I went with this option. I chose
Beautiful.
red because red is typically the color of a kickball. Also in Glen Cove, where I live, one of the school colors is red, so we picked that. It was called LI Kick because, of course, we're on Long Island, and I think kick is a cool word because it like starts with a kick with a K. It ends kind of sharp also. And when we're just doing kickball and soccer, it makes sense. Now, when you say you play LI Kick for cornhole, it's not really all that related.
I want
But
to play volleyball.
yeah, it's still a cool phrase though. We may rebrand it where like it's not just physically kicking; it's like get a kick on a Wednesday night. Kick your kick your social life into high gear. We may rebrand like that, but I think we're gonna stay with the name LI Kick, no matter how many different non-kicking things we get into.
Beautiful. And I just want to highlight how I found you guys because I ran a couple of bar league softball teams, and we were like the Bad News Bears, like just in over our heads, but we had a ton of fun. And then Tiet and Viv were like looking around for other leagues we could join because it's social, it's fun, it's something to look forward to, especially on like a Tuesday, Wednesday night when really there's not much else going on.
Right.
Oh, I actually see a comment here from my friend Erica. She said, "Oh my goodness, love the rebrand."
Cool. And as you're saying about like the other leagues, there's so I've played other leagues also, and I played in the flag football league. And if you love flag football and you're all into it, like that's great. That's that league for you. But basically, me and my buddies, we'd show up 10 minutes before the game. We'd warm up and practice. And then when we play the game, like the other team was our enemies. Like we would want to crush them. We want to beat them as much as we put out as many points as we can and beat them as swiftly as possible. And then after the game, we would hang out in the parking lot by our cars. They'd hang out by our cars. And I never met anybody in that league. I never made a friend. I just learned to like hate my opponents.
That's true. I never thought of it that way.
Yeah. So everything we do with LA Kick is about getting people to meet each other. We
Because
don't
I
want
have
people to be
best
constrained by
friends from opposing teams in your leagues.
Yeah, exactly. We don't want
That's a
people to
good
be
point.
constrained by their dugouts. We want people to be able to meet people as easily as possible. A lot of our bar games force social interaction amongst teams. We'll give people a scavenger hunt, and the scavenger hunt will say, find someone with a orange shirt and convince them to give you your shirt. So it gives people the liberty to go up to someone and introduce themselves. And after a couple of weeks, it's easy to say to somebody, once you're wearing an LA Kick shirt, if you see somebody else, you could just go up to them and say, hey, how was your game? How did you do today? And there's a lot of social collisions that way. And that's what we thrive on, is getting people to meet each other and creating a huge community of friends that play and party together.
Mm-hmm. Love it. And it's so fun. And I'm happy to be a part of it.
Yeah, when I look at people that I never met before, if I see on Facebook, some people I have almost 300 mutual friends with, and they're all people that I've played in the league. So it really is a huge community. And it takes over your life. And I mean that in a good way too. You'll find you join one league and you meet some more people, and then you're playing multiple times a week. On the weekend, you could join in on LA events, or you could just say to your friends like, "Hey, I want to go to the movies tonight," and your LA Kick friends will be the first ones to say that they're free and they want to go for it. A lot of people, they join our league because they say, "My friends are getting married, my friends are boring, my friends are lame," and I say to them, "Well, guess what? I'm going to give you new friends, and these people are going to be your real friends. Because if your friends don't have time for you, then you need the courage to try something new." So a lot of people join our league because there are other friends at different stages in their life, or their friends have moved away. Maybe they've returned from college and they're in a different area now. So they join LA Kick and they're immediately plugged into a massive social network.
Mm-hmm. And Sal, what's the age group for the league? Is there an age group?
It's a 21 and over league, and the average age has been 29 for the last 7 years. No matter how old I get, the average age has been staying the same. Our youngest players are 21. Our oldest players are some of our cornhole or our bowlers, and some of them are as old as 70, but the median age is 29.
Well, I remember when, the group that I played with was like the ages were all over the place, like, you know, from 21 to I would say 60s, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're open to everybody. So anyone that wants to play, they could just sign up. We're pretty obvious in who we are. If you check our Facebook or our Instagram, we're a bunch of people that like to have a good time. And if you're 21 and want to give it a shot, welcome. If you're 60 and want to give it a shot, well, there's a spot for you too.
So sweet. So
Yeah.
how do you promote the league? I think we found you on Groupon.
Yeah, so back in 2013, Groupon and Living Social were massive, and that's really how I got this league off the ground. Those two services are at their all-time high, and everybody was using that. So I got really lucky in the sense that my idea was also at the same time that Living Social and Groupon were big. So that's how we got a huge boost. But now those are different. Those are gone basically. Living Social is completely gone, and Groupon is not nearly what it was, not even 1/10 of what it was. So yeah, finding new people is always the lifeblood of the sport. People age out of it. People move. People find the love of their life, and then they have kids, and then they can't play as much as they used to. So getting new people is always, and spreading the word is always what we're trying to do. We are pretty active on Facebook, Instagram, and Google. We spend thousands of dollars on Facebook ads, thousands of dollars on Google ads, just trying to get the word out there. So if people are searching for kickball, they're going to find us. And then all of our marketing material try and conveys that, yes, this is a real thing. It's not just some guy who is advertising for it. It is a real league with real people that are having real fun. Thousands of people have played. And a lot of times when people find out about us, they tell their friends because they have so much fun. And then they bring their friends along. And next season, their team may need an outfielder or a goalie, or their bowling team is short one, or their volleyball team needs a sub for a week. So then they tell their friends about it. And then their friends join in and they want to play too. So we do advertise a lot, but the best way we find people is that they play, they have a ton of fun, and then they want to tell their friends because they want to hang out with their friends.
Definitely. I love that. And yeah, that's a great point. That word of mouth and just like that network. And like, I remember even like where I was busy with school, I would fill in sometimes for people if they needed me on their team and stuff. And it was always a great time.
Yeah, it's generally how it starts. They'll invite a friend to sub or tag along, or next season they'll need somebody. Then they post on their Facebook wall, hey, I'm doing this thing. They'll also be tagged in Facebook pictures because you have a photographer come out every season and take pictures, and that conveys a sense of legitimacy to their friends. And then they give it a shot, and they love it, and they stick around.
And I wanted to highlight, you said some people meet the love of their lives. I know that there's been a couple of marriages to come from LA Kick. Can you talk a little bit about that?
We're on a real hot streak. We've had
for real.
Yeah, so in back-to-back weekends, there's been 3 LA Kick engagements, and I think we're up to like 6 weddings now, and in total and plus those 3 more headed down the aisle. So we're gonna have about 9 couples that have met through LA Kick, like straight up, you know. Oh, and Jenny, you know Nick and you know Carrie also, who you're on the team for a while, yeah. Nick and Carrie joined the league, and they were placed in the same team, and they eventually went on to get married. And a lot of people are like that, and some people really embrace it too. One of my good friends, Gianni, he got married to a girl named Jerry Ann, who's very sweet. And at the wedding reception,
He was on my team too.
Yeah. At the wedding reception, Gianni started his vows, and he says, "Because Jerry Ann, we started off as teammates, and that will never change."
Oh.
It was just like so, yeah. It was so cute and so touching. So we've had it's just how people meet each other nowadays. It's I say that LA Kick has had more relationships and more marriages than The Bachelor has.
That's awesome.
And it's true too. We're on the way to have 9, and on those shows, there's only been 1 bachelor who got married, and I think out of the Bachelorette, there's been like 4. And that show is designed to find the love of your life. The deck is completely stacked. So I'm super proud of that. I love that people are using it to make those connections. That's really how you meet people nowadays. You do something that you love. It's way better than going to the bar and just scrounging around there.
Scrounging around. I love that.
Yeah.
So is there anything else you want to add regarding the leagues and anything else, any wins you've had with that or?
Yeah, I mean, I'm on a mission just to get everybody in Long Island to play an LI kick. I want to be able to offer all of our leagues in different regions, so anybody that wants to play will be able to play with us without having to worry about driving too far. I just want to create a huge community of young adults, mainly young adults that play and party with each other. Long Island is not a great place for young adults, as a lot of us know. There's no downtown area for people to congregate. The cost of living is super high, so people are typically living at home longer, or when they do have their own place, it's like a basement apartment that's affordable but not really near anything. So it's not easy growing up on Long Island with high cost of living. People have student loan debt. There's no downtown area like there is for Brooklyn or Manhattan. So I want LA Kick to be that avenue for people to meet, hang out. I want it to be the thing people do after college, where they play, they have fun, they have so much fun on a Monday. They find people that connect them to future potential jobs. They widen their social network. Maybe they'll meet a lovely lady one day and settle down as well too. When I first was on Long Island, I graduated college. I was just working an entry-level job, and I would go to work every day, and I'd come home, and I was just so bored. I had nothing to do at night. I didn't have the same friend network. There just wasn't a lot going on, and every day felt so much the same as yesterday. And now that I have LA Kick, and hopefully other people use LA Kick for this too, they could go to work, and then they have something to look forward to, where they're out there having fun, and it's all pretty simple for them. They join a league, and then they have access or an easy introduction to 100 more people who are just like them. People like to have a good time.
Beautiful. And I believe in it and I see it. How could people find you? How could they join?
Yeah, our webpage is li-kick.com. Mm-hmm. Our Facebook is LI Kick. Our Instagram is LI_kick. Our TikTok.
Oh, I saw you on TikTok the other day.
Jenny, I used to make fun of TikTok mercilessly, and I swore to God I would never, ever, ever have a TikTok.
I was surprised.
And slowly, I'm getting a TikTok now. So we have 3 TikTok videos, and that's a lot of fun, because I'll just go up to a couple people, and I'm like, hey guys, you want to be in my TikTok? And they're like, no. And I say to them, I'll give you a beer if you're in my TikTok. And then they say yes.
Can you tell me what inspired the beer flipping in the air and then what was that all about?
Oh, man, when you spend as much time on Instagram as I do, you get to pick up on these things. That's from an account I follow called House of Highlights, which posts mostly NBA highlights and sports highlights. But during quarantine, there's not as many sports going on. So they're posting like youth culture highlights, and one of those things they posted was dropping a bottle of beer on top of a kickball and then trying to get the beer to bounce up and catch it in your hand again.
I got
Jenny, I have a bunch more ideas for my TikTok channel, so they can check me out there.
Definitely.
Yeah, we have leagues starting every odd month. That's how we're set up. So winter is January, early spring is March, May is spring, July is summer, September is fall, November is our late fall season, and every season is 2 months long. So there's always something that's either just starting or starting soon, and people could find us online. They could join our mailing list also. They'll get notified whenever our leagues start. So you're never too far away from a league starting.
What's the next league starting?
During the fall, we're going to have 3 kickball leagues. We're also going to have at least 1 volleyball league, maybe 2. We just got approved for a soccer league, so we're going to get that going in Glen Cove. And then bowling came back earlier today. So tomorrow, I have a meeting with the bowling alley we go to find out if we could run bowling leagues there.
Awesome. Cool. I just want to take a couple of steps back and ask you, like, what made you, so a lot of people have ideas, right? And we just, we have this idea, but we never act on it. What made you act on it? Remember the moment?
What's that?
Do you remember the moment where you were like, I'm doing this?
Yeah, yeah, I do, Jenny. It was we moved. I was in Glen Cove with my two buddies, and just I wanted to. I finally had my own place. I'm like, I'm gonna get out there. I'm gonna take on the world, and I wanted to get involved. I wanted to find people that were like me. I was basically looking for college again. I wanted to find people that were like me. I just wanted to have fun. I wanted to hang out. And me and my buddies, we would go to the bar on a Friday night, just hoping to like meet somebody. But it doesn't really just happen like that. It's not a very natural thing to be at a bar and you think in your mind you might like bump into someone and start a conversation and then they become your friend. But it's not really a good strategy. It doesn't really happen that way. At least not for guys that look like me. Maybe a pretty girl like you would be easier, but not for me, Jenny. So we couldn't really penetrate the social structure. I met with the mayor and I said, hey, I'm new in town. I want to get involved. What can I do? And he basically suggested I join the beautification committee, which was a bunch of retirees that just put out flowers during holidays. I went to the library to see like any resources, and all the library had was like children's events and free internet for people that don't have the internet at home. So I kind of was just looking to do anything to get involved and meet people, and I couldn't find it. And I was just so jealous of my friends that were all plugged in with their social system in Rochester. And I emailed the parks director and he said yes. And I said, like, I got to make this happen now because this is my chance. And I am not throwing away my shot.
That's awesome. And I'm happy you did because it's been amazing. And I have made some very good friends, including you. So
Thank
I'm
you.
grateful for it.
So, yeah, but
And
so Jenny, to surmise why I started it, you could just say desperation.
oh, pain. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome. That's a lot of things come out of that, you know. So
Yeah,
that's
and I got lucky
awesome.
enough. I really, because I had some other, not like ideas, but like there's other things I like, other things I wanted to do in the past that just didn't work out. So I kind of just kept swinging the axe and taking shots, and this was the one that hit. And I do have to thank Amazon, Living Social, and Groupon because back in the day that really got it off the ground.
Awesome. And have you ever thought about doing anything for the kids or with the kids, or you want to keep it strictly like adults?
You know, a lot of kids already have. The kids don't have our problems. They have the little league is already there. Like football leagues are there for them already. They have so many resources at schools that they don't really need to help them out with anything. They already have. They don't have the same problems that us adults have. I looked into doing colleges also, but the colleges are the same deal. Colleges provide so much for students that they don't really need a league like LA Kick to satisfy what they want because they already know everybody. But once you get out of college, you go from being the top dog to that entry level job, bottom guy, and your friends are dispersed and you don't really have that same area. So the sweet spot for us is usually 2 years after college. That's when people start looking for us because in college you're good. That 1 year after college you're still holding on to that. 2 years after college you start looking around, and then 3 years after college is when you pull the trigger and join the league. So that's when most people find us, and then they stay with us for a while.
Do you plan on making it out of state or staying in New York?
It's something I thought about before. If any of my friends decide to move off Long Island and they want to start their own league elsewhere, I'd love to help them out. And, because they're going to have the same problems that I'm going to have. You move to a new area and you don't really know anybody. So if I could help them create something that's going to help them solve their problem of that new in town problem, I'd love to help out with that.
Beautiful. And I just want to highlight my good friend Lindsay. He says always staying active is the key to enjoy life. And he is an avid cyclist as well.
Oh, awesome.
Always out on his bike. He amazes me. So what about that part? Like, what about that staying active part and the wellness part?
Yeah, it's so easy just to go to work, make dinner, and then watch Netflix. That's just so easy to do. And then you get into this routine, but you don't really grow from that. You grow from meeting more people and trying new things and opening yourself to new possibilities and opportunities. So that's why I do this, and that's what keeps LA Kick growing and getting ever more popular. As for cycling, being active physically, yes, that's like my vibe. I love to, on a Saturday or Sunday, I'll go out on my bicycle and spend 3 hours in the saddle and have a great time.
Beautiful. Nice. So I want to ask you a question for Jenny from the chopping block. What's your favorite food and or recipe?
So a couple of years ago, my mom, as a gift, got me Blue Apron. Are you familiar with Blue Apron?
I do.
Yeah. So she basically, she knew I couldn't cook. She goes, Sal, if you ever want to get a wife, you're going to need to learn how to cook. So she got me that, and it's really opened up my knowledge of different types of food, of how to cook food, and how to prepare food. And that's like my favorite thing now. So I'll get a Blue Apron, or I'll get a Hello Fresh, or I'll get a Fresh Direct, or I'll get a Martha and Marley, which are all the same thing basically.
What's Martha and Marley?
It's the Martha Stewart brand of Blue Apron.
Really? I never even heard of that.
Oh, no, it's called Marley and Spoon. That's what it's called.
Oh,
Marley and Spoon.
Marley and Spoon.
Yeah, so I'll get a box delivered every now and then, and I'll get a new thing to eat, and I'll learn a little bit more how to cook. And I have one coming tomorrow, and that will be my dinner for the week.
So what's your favorite?
I don't know. Anything with the breaded chicken. Can I say that?
Yeah. Chicken cutlets.
Maybe some asparagus or string beans on the side, quinoa or jasmine rice, and potatoes too. I do love potatoes.
All right. And Sal, I know a lot of times in your leagues people wear like capes and stuff, and that superhero vibe is alive. If you could be a superhero, what would your special power be?
Yeah, Jenny. So we do want to inspire people to let their freak flag fly. So last week was our heroes and villains theme, and people were out there wearing capes, which is fun too, because it's fun to dress up and it's fun to have a reason to dress up. But I just can't
with the capes on them. They're cute. It
I just can't put a cape on and walk on the street and people think that I'm a sane person. But when I do it playing kickball, it's a normal thing to do. Doesn't superpowers always come between flying and invisible?
Not always.
If I had a superpower, it would be the ability to for me to see myself as others see me. I think that's very introspective. I think I could learn a lot. So I'd like maybe you call it mind reading. I'd love to be able to know how have that looking glass mirror.
I love that. And I did an exercise because I'm big into self-development, and I had like my closest friends, and if you want to do this, it's really insightful to list like your top 5 qualities. I did both top 5 qualities that are positive and then the negatives. And it was really interesting and insightful to see that a lot of people said the same exact things.
Like they all think that their positive qualities are the same? No,
they said what they thought I was.
Yeah.
And everybody wrote loyal. Everybody wrote hardworking. Everybody wrote caring. And I was just like, wow, like that's really dope. Like that's not things that I would naturally say, but to see like 10 people say the same thing, it's like, wow, like you can get that insight.
Usually people present themselves differently to different groups too. Like when you're with your family, you may act one way. With your friends, you may act another way. And when you're with your work coworkers, you may have a different version of Jenny, but you're Jenny true and true, aren't you?
I would say. What do you say?
I mean, I would have to agree. I would default with Tiet and Danny and all those people. I would think that they'd be correct.
Mm-hmm. And those are 2 of the people that you want to ask the people that are closest to you that really know you. But it would be cool. I'm curious to see what your words are. Would you do that?
Make me find 5 friends.
It's so fun.
Want me to find my 5 best qualities?
Yeah.
I think I'm optimistic.
Mm-hmm.
Ambitious. Passionate. I don't want to say hardworking, because like some stuff I'm really hardworking on, and other stuff I'm just like, nah, no. So hardworking at times. Maybe a little daring, and I also want to say that I am. I want to say preconceived, premeditated, thought out,
Thoughtful.
thoughtful. Sure, we'll go with that one.
I would
So
say
I'll find 5 friends. I'll see if it matches with them.
you're thoughtful,
Yeah.
Innovative, caring, social,
And were you gonna say good looking for the 5th one?
handsome. Oh, by the way, for all the ladies out there that are waiting online, is Sal single?
I don't know.
Oh, all right. Sorry, this is live and broadcast. You're in trouble.
My mom might watch this.
Okay, all right. We'll keep that under wraps. So, Sal, it's been a blast getting to know you better and kind of seeing, like what went through your mind to get this up and running and all the success you have. I'm proud of you. It's awesome to watch and it's inspiring. And I just wanted to, my last question is, do you have anything else that's on your heart that you want to share, or anything maybe that you struggled with during this COVID time that maybe could help somebody else that's watching?
Well, I guess I give you my COVID advice is that my leagues had to completely stop. So we had to find a way to keep our people engaged, a way to keep the doors open and keep the wheels spinning. And we went virtual. And I never thought I'd be doing over 100 or close to 100 virtual events. And I'm having a blast doing it. And what I say to people, when we did the bachelorette party, people ask me how it went. And I go, well, I had fun. It was generally I had fun. And I learned something too. We didn't really know how to do a bachelorette party when we accepted the gig. I'd never been to one, obviously, but we learned what games you have to do. We learned how to modify it for it so it's be done virtually with people. So I say I had a lot of fun because it was a ton of fun. I learned something new, and I kind of like upped my skills. And also, we made money doing it too. So just keep out there and keep trying, and don't let anything stop you.
That's amazing. And I feel like you're from fun country. Like,
Yeah.
what does fun mean to you? Because I feel like that's like a big part of your success, right?
Yeah, I just love the social interactions, and that just goes back to college. In college, it was so easy. Every night was an adventure. It was so easy to meet people. There was nightlife, romance, excitement, and where I went to school, there was 5,000 people, all about the same age, living in 1 square mile, and there was always something new to do and people to meet. And that was just so much fun. So for me, the most fun I have is the social interactions. It's getting to meet people. Whenever I meet someone new as a free agent, I'm like, "Why'd you join the league?" And they're like, "Well, I like kickball." And I'm like, "No, like, why did you really join the league? Did you join the league because you wanted to meet more people? Or you're looking to meet somebody? You want to get out of the house? Do your parents drive you crazy? Do all of your friends not live around here anymore?" And then I can have a deep conversation with that person and make sure that they get out of LA Kick exactly what they're looking for. Because no one really joins the league like to kick home runs. They join the league for other reasons. So I have a lot of fun being social in that way and meeting more and more people and just expanding our network.
Well, that's amazing. And I can't wait to see what's next. And I want to join volleyball.
Well, our Wednesday league is sold out. So, Jenny, you're going to have to join another night.
Can't you like squeeze me in? I know people who know people.
All right. Maybe you could play on my team.
Okay.
Cool.
All right, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed tonight's episode with Sal. I got so much value out of it, and I trust that you did as well. And I will see you guys all real soon. Thank you, Sal.
Thanks so much, Jenny. I had a blast.
Awesome. Ciao, guys.